Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of Matthews in the Morning coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out. International Diamond Center. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company. Visit them at comforttemp.com. And also for our clip of the day, make sure you go check out Atlantic Roofing if you need a new roof. They'll take good care of it. We got a lot to talk about today. We'll have JC, we'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. We missed it last night. Go Pack Go put it on the Steelers in the second half, I think. I went to bed at half, so I woke up. Big win for the Pack. JC, you're on the Tight Number Hotline courtesy of Comfort Temp. What's going on? Anything exciting happening?
Oh, no, not a thing. Nothing in the coaching profession, nothing on the field. It's just boring out there. I think open dates are so important for football teams.
I wish we had an open date every week. I love open dates.
You get to golf and watch TV. I tell you, well, let me start with this. I'm going to give you the JC top 12. You want to start the day with that?
Because let's do that. I think everybody has been sitting on pins and needles waiting on this.
They've been waiting with bated breath on this. But I really believe after Saturday, what I saw with my eyes while some teams were sitting on the couch kind of changed the way I feel, as it changes every week, really. Texas A&M, to me, right now, is the best team in the country. And I say that because the amount of team speed on that team reminds me of Florida in 2008. They have track stars everywhere, and these guys are physical. So I like Texas A&M. I love their coach. Defensively, he is as good as there is. I think Indiana is the second best team in the country, not Ohio State. I think Indiana is. Then I think Ohio State is the third best. And there's nothing against Ohio State's defense. It's just the fact that offensively, I don't think they could keep up with A&M or Indiana. But defensively, they're just as good as anybody in America. I think Alabama, after that 5-game stretch, gets to be number 4, pulling out a game in the clutch. And when you win something big during a season, if you win a championship, and this happened a lot during Saban's years, you have to win these games that you look like you're about to lose. You have to go through those types of games and experiences and come through in the clutch. Alabama came through in the clutch when they had to have a big play. They didn't play well at all. They got outplayed by South Carolina, simple as that. But they pulled it out when they had to, and that's what teams that have special years do. And so now they are sitting with an open date coming before LSU. Then you've got Georgia and Georgia Tech. You've got Mississippi, I think, at number 7. There was so impressive against Oklahoma. This guy Kiffin, he can win with 11 guys off the street and play offense and beat your ass. He could just go find 11 guys, doesn't matter where, and beat you. You know all this, but I'm saying it anyway. Miami, number 8, BYU, 9. I got Vandy, 10. Vanderbilt, 7-1, first time since 1941. The program has also beaten 3 regular season top 25 teams for the first time ever. And so you got to put Vandy at 10. Not a great game against Missouri, but Missouri's a good team. Notre Dame, 11, and they won. Notre Dame, 11, Cincinnati, 12. And I like Cincinnati as a team to threaten for the Big 12 championship and BYU. So there you go. There's your 12 teams. If the playoffs started today, that's how I'd see them.
All right. By the way, we're playing Georgia this week, if nobody
totally
forgot about that.
No, we didn't forget about it. We got all week to talk about
that. Barone says here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. QB, I'm going to assume you never attended a world's largest outdoor cocktail party as a kid in Mississippi. No, I did not. When was the first time you went as a fan post-playing days at UF? I will be honest with you, Barone. I've never been as a fan because I don't. JC will tell you I'm not one that likes traffic. I don't like sitting in the stands. I'd rather watch it on TV.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So really the first time I ever went to that game was when I played in it in 1990. And I'm lucky to go. I go to it now because I do the games. So,
never lost to those guys either. No. You never lost to Georgia, and you never lost a home game. I guess we'll say that for the 500th time. So that's good. That's good, QB. You have a good record against Georgia. You really do. And I
Yeah.
think Florida,
I went to a lot of egg bowls though, Barone.
yeah, egg bowls are. But this Georgia game is we'll talk about it for sure during the week. But I just got to say, now that LSU is open as a coaching opens, the Scott Woodward.
Scott Woodward is okay. So just if people aren't aware of this, I screenshot it so I can read it here to all our loyal listeners around the world.
I tee you up there.
This is fascinating. Scott Woodward, who used to be the AD at A&M, his last two football hires, JC, Brian Kelly and Jimbo Fisher, have resulted in $130 million in buyout money and 0 playoff berth.
That's a lot of dead money on the books, bro. That's a lot of dead money.
Do you think those coaches gave him a little side check here? Thanks for hiring me and getting me fired.
I tell you, I think Brian Kelly, looking at him on Saturday night,
you know what?
To be out of there.
I never really paid much attention to him. I wouldn't. There's no way in hell I'd want to play for that guy or coach for that guy.
Right. Well, here's what I don't understand, QB. These buyouts have gotten so ridiculous that you really have to look at not just the coaches and the agents who bent over these schools, but why do these schools allow it? Why does the president, why do these ADs sign off on these deals? Dude, I think I may have gone out. I got a call coming. But why do these coaches and these presidents sign off on these ridiculous deals?
Because if you don't do it, JC, here's the deal. If you don't do what everybody else is doing, you're not going to get the coach you want. It's that simple.
But you shouldn't. Here's the thing I'm going to say. Who in the hell is worth $100 million over 8-9 years? Who? I don't think anybody is, and I don't care.
But that's the market, man.
That is the market. You're right.
It's no different than these players getting paid in college. They ain't worth it.
Yeah, but these schools don't have to sign off on that. If you can't get, listen, let me put it to you like this. If it takes an argument in an office to get you fired and a check written for $50 million, then that probably wasn't the guy you really wanted to begin with.
I don't think that was what got him fired. He got fired because of his. Now, look, they've won 9 and 10 games.
It all led up to that, QB. You know that.
Right. But it does. So basically now, and I'm telling you right now, Auburn's going to be open when the season ends. Kentucky's going to be open when the season ends.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's probably going to be open.
But I don't.
We got a lot of texts on here about Lane. Okay. Is the LSU job equivalent to the Florida job? Absolutely it is. I think they're about identical. I don't think Lane wants to coach there, though.
I mean, who knows? Maybe. Nobody knows. I mean, ask Lane. He's the only guy that can tell you this. But
he's not going to tell anybody anything until the end of the year.
And here's the thing for Mississippi in terms of when the end of the year is going to be. It
doesn't matter.
Well, QB, it matters when you get to January, I think. Because
I know that, but I again.
And that's where they could be. They could
right,
be
but I will tell you this. He will let the people know where he wants to go after the Mississippi State game.
I don't know about that.
I bet he does.
I don't think so.
I guarantee you the agents will have everything already worked out. Guarantee it.
I wouldn't guarantee that, QB. Because
I'm not saying guarantee he's coming here. I'm telling you, he will let the people know, his agent, at the end of the year,
he's going to stay or leave.
What's going to happen?
Why would he say, "Hey guys, we're going to go play in the biggest football games in the history of this school, but I'm going to be leaving before we do that"?
There's nothing wrong with that.
What?
Yep.
Oh, God.
JC, why did he not tell his team at Oklahoma that he was staying?
Because it's not time for that. It's not time for that.
Bull crap.
No, it's not bull crap. You are running a football program right now. You are not playing spin the tail on the donkey, dude.
But JC, just
football team
JC,
that is playing for
put yourself in his position. Put yourself in his position.
Categorically don't agree with that. No way.
Because you've never been in a locker room. Put
Doesn't
yourself
matter,
in that
QB.
position.
It doesn't matter if I've been in a locker room or if I've been to China. You're not going to tell your team that you're about to leave. After.
Why does that team care? Because that team can go with him wherever he goes in today's world. It does not matter.
That is true. That is true.
So just listen to me for a second.
You think this is a Monopoly game where you can just move a hotel over here and a house over there?
It is.
I don't know about that, bro.
JC, all he has to do, whether it's LSU, Ole Miss, Florida, freaking UNLV, I don't give a damn what school it is. If the guy makes a decision that I want to go to another school, and he's playing in the playoffs, so coach your ass off and try to win it there, and then you go to the school you want to go to. It's
I
that
just
simple.
I just think no, it's not simple.
It
And I
is
think
simple.
it is not. And I think it's extremely distracting to players and their family and
I
their
disagree.
coaches' families.
I disagree.
Okay.
They played their ass off and they're very distracted there Saturday. So I
No,
totally
because
disagree.
nothing happened on Saturday about Lane Kiffin's job.
JC, all he had to do was tell Molly McGrath and tell the world on Twitter, I'm staying at Ole Miss. He did not.
Maybe in the production meeting, he told Molly McGrath, don't ask me that question during the game or before the game or after the game.
He talked about it. He talked about it to her. He said, and he talked to his team and said, he told his team, the coaching rumors out there are because of you guys and us winning here. That's all he says. I'm telling you right now,
that doesn't
you're
sound
living
like
in la la land. If you don't think a coach, even when they get into the playoffs, it does not matter. He's still going to go somewhere.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to share that with his players. I really don't think that.
Then he'll coach it out, and then when they lose in the second or third round, then he'll say, "Okay, I'm leaving."
Maybe he will.
But I don't.
But
I as a player would rather the coach say, "You know what? We're going to go try to win a national title or see how far we can go. But I'm taking this job, and hey, many of you guys can come play for me."
Yeah. That's so distracting before this end of the season. They've got something.
Why? Because the kids are still wanting to win. I disagree.
Well, okay, all right, but I think these players are focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's winning a championship.
And that's what he is focused on.
Right. So that does not include, hey, by the way, we're going to be packing our bags and leaving when it's all over.
It does not matter. That has nothing to do with him focusing on putting a game plan together for freaking Indiana.
Okay. Well,
it has zero.
College football, bro. I know these guys are getting paid, many of them, but many of them aren't. And it takes everybody in football to win. And I think you gotta focus on that. You can't focus on what your future living arrangements are.
They're not, dude. JC, do you think the coach gives a damn about packing a box at his house and where he's moving to? They have realtors. They have moving companies. Remember, I talked about this the other day. Coaches live in coaching. What did my buddy call it? Coach world. They don't know. They don't do anything. They're there to focus on winning football games. He can win on football games and then take a job somewhere else. That's a fact.
All right.
It's not going to distract those kids, I'm telling you. Because in today's world, those kids are being like, you know what? We can win a national title here. We can go somewhere else and win a national title.
Okay. Why Ember wants to? I'm asking Ember, why do I sound like a socialist? What the hell does that mean? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If this is pro football and we've got a business, these kids are all pros now, but I don't agree with that. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine going into a locker room and telling players before the season's over at a school that's never won anything.
Okay, maybe he doesn't do it to the end of the year.
Leaving when it's all over.
So JC, he may not do it till the end of the year. Then what does it matter?
Okay, so that's the problem, because it matters that the end of the year ends up potentially in January, and Florida's sitting there with no coach. That's why it matters. QB.
I'm telling you, JC, they're not going to tell you or me or anybody on Twitter who they're hiring. All the stuff behind the scenes is going on right now. There may be an agreement and we don't even know. It could be an agreement with Lane. It could be an agreement with freaking Urban. It could be an agreement with Steve Spurrier to come back. We don't know.
I mean, the transfer portal changes a lot of things. That's very true. But listen, I'm just.
Here's your point. Your point is you think that if Lane told his team, I'm going somewhere else to coach, they will not play hard to win a national title.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just asking.
Horrible distraction. I'm not saying they wouldn't.
Why? Okay, let me just ask you something. How can it be a distraction when the guy says, I'm focused with you guys till we lose a game?
Because those players at Ole Miss don't want to talk about going anywhere. They want to talk about
but it's not
at Ole
talk.
Miss.
It's not talk. If he says, I am taking the school X job, but I am committed to you guys, me and my staff, to do whatever we can to win the national title. What is wrong with that? As an athlete,
I just think you're missing my point.
I'm coming as an athlete. Yeah. I'm fine with that because that's his decision. It's just my decision. What if Trinidad Chambliss says, you know what, I'm not getting paid enough money. I'm not going to play in the playoffs.
QB, when you were 20 years old and Coach Spurrier was everything in your life, and that dude walks up to you and says, hey, man, after we get done playing Florida State, I'm going to tell you and everybody else that I might be skipping after the bowl game.
Okay, that's different, JC, because if I transferred with him or went somewhere, I would have to sit out.
You
Today's
got to
world, it
think
doesn't
about
matter.
that, dude. You got to think about that. You're
I
not
don't think
just
about it.
moving
I don't
to
think
the next dorm room.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you think Lane Kiffin, if a kid comes to him, if his running back comes to him, whose running backs are very good, by the way, if his running back comes to him and says, "You know what, Coach, I'm not getting paid enough money. I'm not going to play in the first playoff game." What's the difference? What's the difference?
I'm not going to win this argument, but
there is no argument. I hear your point, but my point is if he just tells them they're still going to try to win the damn game, there is no distraction.
Okay. We're leaving this zip code, but don't worry about it. Just go win. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It's to me, it just seems crazy to me. But I think the whole game and the coaching profession is crazy, and I think these buyouts are crazy. I think these schools are crazy to allow this market to happen. I'm not saying collude, but I'm just saying it's asinine that we've got almost $1 billion of dead money on the books. It feels like maybe not, but $500 million for sure on the books in the coaching profession. Does that make any sense to you? Is that how a good business is run by a university or athletic? So, okay, I got outbid for Billy Napier. Would Florida have been worse off if they didn't get Billy Napier? I mean, I guess you didn't know back then, so that's probably not fair. But come on, he comes to Louisiana. It's not like he was, they didn't hire George Hollis. But they had to have him, though. They had to have him. They had to. So I guess that's what you're going to do is you're going to give up the store to go get who you want. Florida sounds like it's willing to wait through January to get the guy they want when James Franklin is sitting right there. I know you don't like James Franklin, but a lot of people.
Well, you don't just hire a coach just to hire a coach.
Well, no, but James Franklin's he's a proven commodity.
Okay, well, let him go somewhere else.
Yeah, I know you don't want him, QB.
No, I don't.
But let me tell you this. I was at the gate yesterday on that direct flight from Dallas to Gainesville, and there were a lot of Gator fans on that flight. Don't know why. Don't know what they were doing in Dallas. Maybe they were connecting. I don't know. They talked to me and they said, how would you feel if with who Florida, if it wasn't Lane Kiffin, how would you feel? I said, well, it would depend on who it was. And they go, well, what person would you say? I said, well, there's a guy right now who's available that would probably take it if you called him right now. And who is that? James Franklin. Oh, yeah. Didn't even think about him. You guys won a lot of games, hasn't he? Yeah. He won at Vanderbilt when they came here and scored 40 on you. So, yeah, sure.
JC, don't worry about one game, though. Look, James Franklin's a very good coach.
He's a proven coach.
Look,
he's a proven
here's the deal.
coach, and you know it and I know it.
Here's the deal. He's a good coach. But if you have a guy you want, you go do everything you can to get him. That's simple.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
And that's what's going to happen. Scott says here, hey, guys, when you're done arguing, can you give us an update on the injured Gator players? I have no update.
I consider this more of
a press conference.
I think we're more debating than arguing. Because
we're not arguing. I understand your point, but in today's world is totally different than back the analogy you put with me and Coach Spurrier.
Yeah,
it's totally different.
That is true.
But I mean, honestly, there is a chance.
But 20-year-olds are 20-year-olds, dude.
But think about this, Jack. There is a chance, and it's going to happen eventually, that School X is going to get in the playoffs, and whoever that player on their team says, you know what, you guys aren't paying me enough money, I'm sitting out.
I don't know about that.
It's going to happen. You watch.
Okay. I doubt it, but
as a former athlete, I would have zero problem. Would I be upset, or I don't know the correct term, but I mean their players are not idiots, okay? Their players know that they have one of the top coaches in America, and they're at Ole Miss, and he may end up at Florida. He may end up at LSU.
If they're not,
he may end up at the Miami Dolphins. Who knows?
They also know that there's nothing guaranteed. And what I mean by that is just because you think you can just hop from one school to the next in the transfer portal doesn't mean the coach is going to take you. Maybe it does for some players, but not for all of them. And it takes all of them to win football games.
Right. But again, JC, just think about this. How many times have we said that the outside linebacker at Ole Miss is not equivalent to the outside linebacker at Alabama, Georgia, Florida, wherever?
Okay.
We say it all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that guy, he's fortunate he's playing SEC football on a very good football team.
Mm-hmm.
He may realize, you know what, if my coach leaves, I don't have an opportunity to go there. So, I mean, it is what it's life, people. It's life. Coaches leave all the time.
Well, okay. Well,
The players leave all the time now.
the situations are, evolving each week. And I think when you look at Mississippi's schedule with Florida and Mississippi State left on the conference schedule, it's safe to say they're going to have one conference loss. They're going to be favored in every game they play from here out. They will be 11-1.
They got all home games.
They will be 11-1, and no, they play at Mississippi State, but they'll be 11-1. And when they're 11-1, they will be likely a seeded either 5 through 8, which gives them a home playoff game. That's what they're thinking about. And I think that's what Lane Kiffin's thinking about.
All right, here we go. Greg from Fort Myers on the Titan MR text says LSU does have recruiting advantage due to they own the state of Louisiana. However, when you compare academics, quality of life, it's not close. Who wants to live in dumpster Louisiana versus Northern Florida? I will tell you this, Greg. Academics, you're exactly right, but the athletes in today's world, that's not even a factor anymore.
No,
not even a factor.
Not at all. No, not at all. So my picks in the NFL went 2-2, but I did have on win with JC Thursday. I had Vandy winner, LSU loser, Auburn, Arkansas over winner, LSU over winner, Texas Tech over loser, and those are my best bets. So I like that. I'll be posting that on Thursday. Tonight, we've got one NFL game, which is surprising because we've had 2 the last 6 weeks, it feels like. And I don't know off the top of my it's the do you know who's playing tonight? Why don't I know this off the top of my head? I guess because I've been thinking about something
tonight
else.
Is the Chiefs and the Redskins.
So no quarterback for Washington, but they will have Samuel and they will have McLaurin back. But Kansas City's ready to go ahead and win the AFC, it feels like. And I hope that doesn't happen. I'll tell you what I did love. I loved watching the Chargers. Oh, by the way, we did have the Chargers on Thursday night. Talked about this already. I love their blue uniforms, their navy blue uniforms with the number under the lightning bolt and those blue hats. That was the Marty Schottenheimer helmet, I think, and the LaDainian Tomlinson helmet, and it gives them identity. I love the Chargers. I think if they get healthy, that could be a dangerous team. That division QB with those gorgeous Denver Bronco uniforms yesterday, which were absolutely phenomenal.
I don't know why they don't wear those every game.
Oh, gosh, those were good. Orange Crush. That division could have 3 playoff teams easily.
Shelvin says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, we're forgetting that many of today's college athletes don't care about school pride or titles. They want the money and their bodies NFL first round ready. Just watch the opt-outs of superstars on playoff teams, especially lower seeded playoff teams.
I think that's kind of a lazy tweet. I think they do care about these. They don't put their bodies out there just to try to make money. They try to win something as well. You always say that. And I do believe that's true. When you saw what Texas A&M did to LSU, it wasn't because they were getting paid on Monday morning. It was because they just went ahead and asserted themselves as the best team in the SEC and a team that's likely going to play in the SEC championship game and a team that's likely going to be a top 4 seed in the playoffs. And
JC, where do we sit with the SEC right now?
We have A&M and Alabama on top, undefeated. Then you have a group, huh?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then you have a group of teams with 1 loss, which include Georgia, Vanderbilt, Mississippi, and there may be, and that's it. So Missouri, I think, has maybe they have 2 losses now. So 3 teams with 1 loss, 2 teams with 0 losses. That's 5, and that's what a lot of folks think will end up in the playoffs representing the SEC. At least 4, maybe 5.
Annie's question: did Arch have a concussion? They never said.
Texas, they have 1 loss, QB.
Yeah, I know. Somehow they keep winning games.
So there's 6
dogs blew that one, boy. Good gracious.
Only Mississippi State can figure out how to lose those games. But the last 3 times Mississippi State has played, they could have won all 3. But Mississippi State doesn't know how to win. But the problem is that this league has 6 teams, almost half of the roster in this league, which has 16 teams. Yep. So 6 teams. Well, not quite almost half, but 6 teams have 1 loss or less or fewer. And that's going to probably work itself out a little bit, but I don't see anyone beating A&M. I think Alabama runs the rest of the table in the league, and I think that's who you're going to see in Atlanta.
You're going to see A&M and
Alabama.
Here's a text from Titan MR text line. from William. He says, Shane, who are your top picks for the Heisman? Phew. I would say I'm gonna give it three quarterbacks. I'm gonna go in no particular order.
Okay.
Trinidad Chambliss,
Uh-huh.
the Mendoza kid from Indiana,
And Marcel Reed.
Marcel Reed.
Yes.
You know what's interesting, JC? You know where Marcel Reed was originally committed to?
No, where?
Ole Miss.
Yeah. The guy's unbelievable. He can
I'm telling you, Lane likes certain type of quarterbacks have good feet. You got to have good feet to
yeah,
play for him.
300 yards, 4 TDs, 16.8 yards per completion, 8 yards per rush.
Oh, I left off Ty Simpson. I'd put him up there too.
Yeah, 16.8 yards per completion, 8 yards per rush at LSU against that so-called good defense. That's the performance of the week. It has to be. Chambliss, 315 yards, 53 passing, 53 yards rushing versus Oklahoma.
Number one defense in America.
Woo, boy, that kid is something.
He's a good player. If they're going to have a movie about him at some point.
So Lane's going to bring Charlie Weiss Jr.
I would think so. Yeah, I think he brings his whole. I think if he comes, he brings his whole staff.
How does he not? Yeah, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
And my thoughts are he will be our next coach.
Yeah, you're emphatic about that.
And if he isn't,
okay, but it's okay.
I'm not going to shut my show down like the one guy said.
No, just throw it out there. I mean, I love that you throw that out there. I think that's the way you should do it,
JC. Because he's going. In my opinion, he's going somewhere.
Okay, well,
he would have already said, "I am staying." It's been going on for what, 2 weeks now.
He also loves the attention, and you don't know what he's told his team. So, I mean, if
he told his team he was staying, trust me, in today's world, with these things right here,
yeah, it would leak.
It would be out there.
It would leak. Yeah, it would leak.
All right, This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union, where a proud member Stephen Orr Spurrier banks. 1888, the World Championship Baseball Series at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. The St. Louis Browns rout the New York Giants 18-7 in Game 10, but they lost the series 6-4. I guess usually the best 6 out of 10.
Yeah, good Lord. 6 out of 10. Corey says, JC, whether you agree or not, it doesn't matter. It's above your pay grade. Listen, Corey, in about 3 minutes, I will almost forget everything I said today as I go on with my day. But thank you for that. So, yeah, Ty Simpson, definitely you have to throw him in there. He's a clutch player. He waited his turn. I think he's been the only reason why they're playing that well. They have no running game at all. Zero. At Alabama. And
they don't.
And Texas A&M has got so much speed. I think that team to me right now, I'm telling you, they are 1, Indiana 2, Ohio State 3, only because Ohio State's done absolutely nothing. And it's not their fault. I get it. They played the schedule that they have, but they have beaten nobody and shown me nothing other than, wow, we can stop Texas. Well, everybody stops Texas. So,
although ours threw for like 380 on
Mississippi. Had a good day against Ole Miss Mississippi State in the second half. He did play well. Now he's got a concussion. I think it's pretty clear. And they've got a big home game coming up, and then they've got Texas A&M in a couple of weeks at home as well. So Texas is still alive, but they're not. I don't think they're one of the 12 best teams in the country. I don't.
Electronics World Integration Design Specialist, Smart Home Automation Entertainment. It's Gator season, y'all. Let Electronics World bring the Florida Gators, college football, and the NFL.
What do you think? What do you think's different going to happen? Just real quick, I know we're running short on time, but with this Georgia game coming, what do you think they did this weekend to kind of prepare themselves for this week? Anything?
Well, they probably had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, is my guess.
Okay.
They probably went out in shorts or whatever and threw the ball around on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Let the kids go home if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we have nothing to lose. Like I told you, I think I'm running trick plays. I'm running fake punts. I'm running reverses. Do whatever you can to beat Georgia.
There you go.
And why not? You're not going to be back. So what does it matter?
Yeah, no, I totally see it. I mean, put something out there on tape that gets somebody excited about you at another place, right?
Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
If he beats Georgia, people are going to talk about Billy Gonzalez a little bit more.
Look, I love Billy, but Billy has Like
I know.
he has no chance.
But if North Texas opens up, or if a place like that opens up, yeah, he has a chance if he can coach these Gators.
By the way,
well,
I'm hoping for the Gators' sake, nobody in the SEC hires Eric Mars from North Texas.
oh yeah, yeah.
That's who Kentucky should hire.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Their quarterback threw for like 600 and something yards the other night.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of North Texas. Big fan.
All right, JC, we got to get Scott Carter. Sorry.
We'll go.
Have a great day, JC.
Okay.
Go sit, go sit in your living room and act like you were an outside linebacker, and your coach comes in and says, "Guys, hell of a year. I'm leaving, but we're going to win a championship. Tell me how you feel on Wednesday."
Okay.
That's JC. Join us at Titan of our hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We'll take a quick time out. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, UF Health Orthopedics. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker's Sports, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, and MG&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you want to advertise, give my man Freddie a call at 352-284-3733.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand.
We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers
And go Gators.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations are Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. Also, don't forget, if you need a new roof, give our folks who sponsor the clip of the day, Atlantic Roofing, a call. Back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. It's our man, Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com, who I'm curious if he took a break during the bye week. Scott, how you doing, my man?
Good morning, Shane. I did not do a very good job of that the first bye week, but this one I did a much better job. I wrote something on Friday. On Saturday, kind of chilled, and then yesterday got caught up on some work that I've been putting off. It's always weird to have two bye weeks in the season. But it does break it up and you feel a little more refreshed for the home stretch here.
Yes, real quick, Clint Irby here on YouTube, brought to you by Quiet Plum. It says, Shane, with Ole Miss beating OU and the LSU job open, are you still bullish on UF getting Lane? I am. It's just my thoughts, whether they're right or wrong. I'm still all in. What do you think, Scott?
Well, I'm all in with you, man. I'd love to see it. I think Gator fans obviously would love to see it. Um, it's the LSU job threw a little wrench in it yesterday, but
Yeah.
I still think there's a great chance that, he could end up here if he wants to leave Ole Miss. It's obviously the ball is in his court to use the old cliche. I mean, there's a few people on earth right now who it's good to be, and Lane Kiffin's one of those because, LSU's going to at least inquire about him, Florida, and who knows what other jobs are going to open up. And Jimmy Sexton, his agent, sitting there flipping money right now because he's obviously working for Lane Kiffin. He's not working for LSU or Florida or any other school. So he's gonna milk this for what it's worth. That's the business. So again, if Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss, I still like Florida to be. I like Florida with the top odds.
Yeah. Scott's got a question for you because he asked me, and while me and JC were raising hell, uh, and I didn't know the answer. He said, Scott, do you have any updates on the injured Gator players?
I mean, I know they're hoping to get maybe a couple of them back. Jacoby Jackson, the running back who's been out for a while. Not for sure about Jordan Castell. His 30-game starting streak ended obviously against A&M. And some of those other guys, Devin Moore, don't know the severity there. So there was so much interest in other parts of the program last week, Shane. The injury guys, they got kind of pushed to the back burner, and there was no availability for players or coaches on Wednesday as there normally is after practice. So we'll get back on the regular schedule, and I'm sure we'll find out some more of those on those guys. But I would expect we'll see some more the same as we saw against A&M. There'll be some young guys playing that we maybe didn't see earlier in the season.
Yeah, the only person that I can remember that was injured in that game that I think we really need for moving forward, Vernell Brown III with his shoulder.
Yes, yes,
Um,
that would
and
be a big loss, obviously.
yeah, and I don't know how bad it was, but that can be not good. This text says, hopefully Billy G has had them running routes on air for the last week nonstop. Well, I bet they have been running routes on air since Steve Spurrier Jr. is involved, is my guess. Um, I guess, Scott, I mean, nobody's even talking about the Georgia game right now. Obviously, we played Georgia this week. It's all about the coaching search, right? This is a unique game. It's only one other game like this, Texas OU. I've been to both. There's more hatred in this game, in my opinion, than OU Texas. Um, been a while since the Gators have won a game. The Dogs have kind of dominated this the last several years. Just your thoughts about the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Well, I tell everyone who's never been, that's my favorite game of the season every year on the schedule. I just love the rivalry. I love where it is in Jacksonville. Obviously, we're going to get a 2-year break. So this is the last year in Jacksonville for a couple of years because of the renovation of the stadium there. So they're going to be in Atlanta and Tampa the next couple of years. So it's going to have a different vibe. Um, but when you look at this matchup, Shane, what you said is true. I mean, Georgia has kind of regained some dominance in this series like the Gators had for 2 decades under Spurrier and Meyer. It's been in Georgia's favor in recent years, but I think when I look at these two teams and these two programs in 2025, I don't see the distance there between the programs that I did back in 21 and 22 when Georgia was, winning titles and dominating college football. I think the gap is closed. I think that's partly due to just Florida recruiting better under Billy Napier. I think partly it's due to the disparity that the game has brought on in the NIL and transfer portal era. Georgia probably lost some players that Kirby Smart would have liked to still hung around and developed. So that's just where the game is. But I love the game. I love the matchup, and I've seen all kinds of games like this over the years. Florida's the program that's in turmoil. Georgia's playing for the national title or SEC title. You didn't expect it to happen. I think that can happen on Saturday in Jacksonville, but Florida will have to play a really good, inspired game for that to happen.
Yeah, Scott, I don't know if I asked you this or it was some other reporter last week on the show. Has there ever been an interim coach for either school in this rivalry?
Yeah, I mean there has. Remember Galen Hall took over in '84 with 8 games to
Yeah,
go.
okay.
Gary Darnell was the last one, I think, in 1989 on Florida's side. That was the year before, obviously, Spurrier came in. Beyond those, I don't think so. I don't know on Georgia's side off the top of my head because they had a lot of stability there.
Okay, I forgot about those. John has a question for you on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Says, Scott, can you give us a Sully update? Is he coming back?
Well, everything I've heard internally, they hope that he's back, that he's coming back maybe by January or by the season. So I don't know. I don't know a lot of the details there in terms of how serious the matter is and what he's dealing with. I know he's asked for privacy, and we'll see how it works. I mean, Sully's done a tremendous job. I wrote a little note over the weekend about him and Tony Vitello. Same day, Vitello goes to the Giants later in the afternoon. It's announced that Sully is, taking a leave of absence. And those two guys remind me so much of each other, just intense competitors, more
Mhm.
like coaches than baseball coaches. And I mean, that's got to take a grind on you. And Sully's been doing it for 18 seasons, going into his 19th. So hope he gets back. But I really don't have an update on a timetable or anything. I just know the belief is the hope that he will coach the team in 2026. So we'll see.
Text on the Titan Mar text line from Gator Josh and Wamama. He says, do you think Auburn waits next year for a new coach so they don't have to compete with LSU and Florida? That's a good point, but they did get a big win finally, their first SEC win in quite some time for Hugh Freeze. So I don't know. I still think Scott, I still think Auburn's are going to become open. I still think Kentucky's going to come open. I think Florida State's going to come open. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter the amount of money. I don't, we can't afford that. For some reason, these people are coming up with millions and millions of dollars to pay these coaches.
Yeah, I saw something yesterday, a sports business reporter. At this rate, this year in college football, there'll be more buyout money paid than the NHL, NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball combined. So the money's there. What's not there is the front office and a better regulation of the business. But as long as you have boosters who are willing to throw millions and millions of dollars at the system, it's going to be like this. But I look at I think might be a tipping point here with this whole. There are very few coaches out there to be recycled in this market. I mean, James Franklin's a recycled coach that is going to look good to somebody. But there's not a lot more. I mean, Hugh Freeze. Let's say if Hugh Freeze gets canned at Ole Miss. I mean, is everybody going to be jumping on the wagon to hire Hugh Freeze? No. Uh, so eventually, you've got to develop a system that kind of gets young, up and coming coaches into the marketplace. Because at this point, man, there's what 11, 12 openings right now. If what you just mentioned, I mean, that would take it up to 15 to 16. I mean, and
Yeah.
these are elite jobs. I mean, when you look at LSU and Florida, I mean, that's two of the SEC's top four programs. Historically, if you had Alabama and Georgia in there, and I mean, they're the ones who's winning the national championships in the last 20 seasons. So those are premier jobs.
Yeah, and you throw Penn State in there, those I'd say Florida, LSU, Penn State are the premier ones that are open at the moment. And that's probably those three will stay the premier ones, I would think. Auburn kind of sneak in there when it opens up. Michael from Tennessee says, QB, do you think the LSU firing Brian Kelly and Ole Miss winning on Saturday will change things for Lane coming to Gainesville? I don't. I'm not one of these that thinks that because he keeps winning changes his thought process, right? I've said it multiple times. And again, he may stay, but Scott, you've been around coaches, and I've talked about it multiple times on this program. Coaches don't think, the great coaches don't think like the average human being, right? They're always, all they're focusing on is how can they win a championship. That's all it is.
Yeah, the
And
great ones
they
are,
have those egos.
yeah, they're very egotistic, very product or production driven. They understand that you have to win at the highest level if you're going to keep your job at a place like Florida, LSU, even Ole Miss. I mean, if Kiffin was struggling there, they changed coaches over the years. So yeah, coaches don't look at it like that. I think he, whatever decision he makes, whether it's to stay at Ole Miss, come to Florida, go to LSU, wherever. I mean, he's going to look at it through a lens of a coach, and like I said, they just don't think in a lot of ways like that. Certainly not like fans, or even I think a lot of media members. It's just a different approach, and I think they have to be like that because that's what got them to where they are. And sometimes it rubs people the wrong way on the outside, but I get the fact that, like, I remember an interview one time with Albert Pujols, the great baseball player. A lot of people in baseball thought he was kind of a jerk. And he says, look, man, I'm not really a jerk. I just have to be in that zone and be moody to do what I need to do on the field before a game. So if I'm not too friendly, forgive me. And I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. JC and I had a discussion a few minutes ago. He thinks if Ole Miss gets into the playoffs, which they're probably going to, unless they just fall flat on their face. He doesn't think. I was like, look, he can still coach his team and tell him he's leaving. I don't see a big deal about that. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but all right. M. Pryor says, QB, do you think this is YouTube brought to you by Quad Pun? Do you think that Lane's admiration of Coach Spurrier will lead him to? I don't think that has anything to do with it. Like I said, I think he grew up watching Coach Spurrier coach. That's an iconic place to coach in. You're going to have 90 something thousand every week. He's lobbying for the Ole Miss people to have the best crowd this weekend that they've ever had. They have a night game against South Carolina. But no, look, he's a very good football coach. And he and his staff coach their tails off, right? I think when you maybe don't have as good a talent, like as a whole, we know they have good talent, but I don't know where their roster ranks against Alabama, LSU, A&M. I'm talking about, I don't follow recruiting. I don't care about all that. But there's no better feeling, Scott, as a play caller or an offensive guy when you out scheme people. That's why you see him get so excited throwing his play sheet, running down the sideline when he has the perfect play dialed up. That's how Coach Spurrier was, right? He knew when to call the right play because of his film study or whatever. That's what makes Lane Kiffin so good, in my opinion.
I agree. There's a passion there that he's not afraid to show. And I love that about him. And he's obviously grew up around the game. I mean, his father, I remember the quirkiness of him when he was the defensive coordinator with the Bucks, and he was a guy who showed the emotion, and the players loved playing for him. And I think that's why Kiffin, he's a player's coach, but he's also a very good X and O's guy. I mean, you couldn't rise like he has, and I do think he's evolved a lot in the last few years. But I mean, he's doing something right, Shane. That's why we're here talking about him. That's why people at LSU are talking about him, and wherever else Ole Miss wants to keep him. And like I said earlier, good to be Lane Kiffin, but he's a proven commodity.
Yeah. I want to switch gears, Scott. We got a few more minutes left. I know you're a big baseball guy. Obviously, game 3 of the World Series is tonight. Series is tied up 1-1. How do you feel? Is it 2-3-2? Is that still how they do the so we got 3 games in LA and then come back if necessary, 2 games in Toronto?
Yes.
How do you feel about the rest of the series?
Well, I'm going for the Blue Jays because I'm just one of those guys who I get tired of
hate
winning.
the Angels. I mean the Dodgers.
Yeah, I get tired of the Dodgers because they're so good. So I like to see the upset. That game one was great, but the Dodgers are so good. I mean, they're getting unbelievable pitching, and we'll see how it shakes out these next 3 games in LA because the home field advantage really matters out there for them. But it's going to be hard for Toronto to win the series if the Dodgers keep pitching like they have. And I mean, the Yamamoto the other night, man, what first? I mean, back-to-back complete games in the postseason. Shane, that's like when we were, when we were teenagers, guys used to do that. They don't do that anymore. So that's just how rare it is, man.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Blue Jays as well. I like their lineup a lot. I'm one of these guys. I'm against the team that spends the most money. And the Dodgers have the best. It's always the Dodgers and the Yankees, right? The best team money can buy.
Yeah, it has
Otherwise,
been in recent years, and the only reason I like the Dodgers is Freddie Freeman. I'm a big Braves fan. I love Freddie Freeman, but yeah, he's already got a couple World Series rings. Let some of those guys at Toronto get one. And the guy the other night who Addison Barger who hit the home run in the game one, the Grand Slam. He's from Tampa, so he's a cool little story for Florida people.
and then the last text here on the Titanmore text line from Jack and Micanopy. He wants to know, Scott, give us an update on volleyball. Will they be a postseason team?
I think they'll be a postseason team. They won at Arkansas yesterday, their first SC sweep of the season. They're 12-7, 7-3 in the league. So I think it's a team that is starting to find its footing a little bit under first year coach Ryan Tice. I think at one point they were 6-5 or 7-6. So you could tell they're playing better of late. Um, so yeah, I do think they'll be in the postseason. Maybe they'll even crack the top 25 again before the season ends. And just playing well at the end of the season. That's what it's all about. So we'll see where that goes. But it's definitely interesting to watch how he's doing in his first season as coach.
Okay, this is the last one on Facebook Live. John says, brought to you by Mellon Law. In college basketball, I've noticed they are playing a lot of scrimmage games. That would be very beneficial if they did that in college football as well. There's more logistics that go on in football. It's so expensive to travel because of the equipment. It's easy to hop in a bus and drive down to Orlando when Illinois flew in to play in a rec center, not a rec center, but a nice, where I think it's where the Magic used to practice.
Yeah, RDB
Philly.
Sports Complex.
Speaking of basketball, we're gonna have Chris Harry because the Gators play, I think, is it a week from tonight? Uh, the season opens up. We'll have Chris Harry on Wednesday to talk basketball. But don't you agree? You just can't do that in football, right?
Yeah, it's like comparing apples and oranges in the two sports. I mean, a football team is about what? About 10 basketball teams if you add up all the staff and the players. So equipment and and also just the injuries. Now, what I would like to see, kind of along the same lines of thinking, I would like to see a day where you go through spring practice for 3 weeks, a month, and then you play a real game against an opponent and make it count in some way. Does it? I don't know how it counts, but make it count in some way to where it matters because fans are going to show up if it matters. And maybe one day that will happen. One day, maybe spring football is a thing of the past. There's also that on the table. So who knows where it's going to go? But I get the sentiment of your audience there.
Yeah, then David sent me a text here regarding I get the Kiffin effort, but please get Kerwin and Cade combo higher on the table. Look, David, we have nothing to do with who they're going to interview. Kerwin's one of my closest friends. I talk to him once a week. I talk to Cade too, because I helped train Cade when he was a young kid. Cade actually texted me yesterday multiple times. I have nothing to do. I would love to see that, but it's not going to happen. That's the problem. I'm not the one. You got to go. I'm just doing a damn podcast. Yeah. Scott, how can everybody watch you or read your work, I should say,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then follow you on Twitter?
they probably prefer to read me than watch me, Shane. Yeah, it's FloridaGators.com, obviously, at Gator Scott on X. And, we'll try to keep you updated there. I'm not expecting any major news on the coaching front anytime soon, but the older I get and the way college football is changing, there's all kinds of stuff that I don't expect. So who knows? Who knows where it's going?
Appreciate your time. We'll see you Saturday in Jacksonville, my friend.
All right, Shane, have a good one.
That's Scott Carter. Does a great job with FloridaGators.com. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings, and walk-ins are welcome. Go check them out. UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. I want to thank JC and Scott Carter. Tomorrow we will have Buddy and we'll have Buck Ballou, who does radio up in Atlanta, former quarterback on the national championship team in 1980. We'll get his thoughts on the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Have a great day, folks. See you tomorrow.